Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and it's time to spill more Reali-Tea on all things RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10. Even though we're getting towards the end of the Tournament of All-Stars, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a single drop of future content. On this podcast, the semi-finals are officially on, as our top 9 queens finally merge and face off in the All-Star Snatch game as an endgame format change brings eliminations back to the table. But before we begin, I can't do this without my co-host, and while I'm a jack of all trades, he's definitely jacking all trades. It's Quacker Jack. Jack, we're officially at the semi-finals, but we also have only 2 episodes left after we go over tonight's episode. Does it feel like things are starting to wrap up here and very quickly?
I would say yes. I feel like we've gotten to the end. Like we all kind of know what's going to happen. I feel like, or we have an idea of what's going to happen. I think we're going to get the 8-person lip sync. I think we're going to see one more person get like taken out tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I'm sorry, the next episode, right? And then we're going to finally see who is going to make the top 7, and then what will the judges be picking for their top 3 as possible comebacks for the lip sync, where this person will have no chance of winning the final crown, even though they said they did. And that's going to be about that.
Unless it's like the girl that immediately comes back, I don't see how that person has any sort of chance whatsoever. Like it's a
Yeah.
nice like I feel like they should have brought them back maybe at here and maybe had like a final 10 and then just done 2 eliminations from there. I feel like that would have been a little more fair because then at least they have 2 episodes to kind of prove themselves. But
Right.
throwing them back in on the finale just it that we know what shenanigans y'all are pulling there. So it's like if we see someone like a Nicole Page Brooks show up, like I love Nicole, but I'm just like, girl, like this is clearly gonna be like a wild card spot. And I expect this person to probably face off against Ginger.
I feel like, and here's the thing. I feel like whoever gets the spot, it's gonna be it's gonna be not Cynthia, right? Like, I don't think any of the judges are gonna bring Cynthia back to be like, we like her, but like, let's be real. And maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and that's totally a possibility. But I'm just like, girl, really?
I mean, we were wrong about Cynthia making it this far, so you never know. I was kind of not expecting it, but
I
let's
mean,
go
she
ahead.
didn't
Oh,
really make it that far.
I mean,
Oh,
she got 10th place like she usually did. She's consistent at
yep,
least.
she got 3 times getting 10th place. That really shows how true to it was about the she really don't need to be here. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like she's a nice person. She looks lovely in Acid Betty's outfits and
I
all
don't
the
even
others.
think I think according to Cynthia, because by the time I think we get this out, Roscoe's it won't be up. But Cynthia said that Acid actually didn't get to design for her. I think they ran out of time,
Oh,
which is weird
oh
because
no.
like they had like such a long time in between filming, but maybe they just didn't
It
get.
took 9 months. That's crazy.
Well, maybe they just didn't get like the
Oh,
things
like
for the formats right away, or any of the the prompts. So
yeah,
like
that's
maybe it was like a last minute thing, and she just couldn't coordinate with Acid in that short amount of time.
okay. I'll give them that. That's fair. But like it was I feel like we all kind of looked at it and we were like, well, time to do it.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit more about Cynthia because she actually spilled a lot of tea at Roscoe's. It was actually kind of enjoyable to see her because she was not happy. You could tell she was not happy.
Well,
But let's kind of go ahead and maybe we can get to why she wasn't happy. Because we find out here at the start of the episode again that the format with the merge comes a new format change, and the semi-final rules are officially announced, and it's just regular Drag Race. So I think we kind of discussed what that likely meant again for the finale a little bit earlier here. But now that it's actually happening, do you like this change, or do you think they should have the points to continue?
oh no, I think this is a great change. I don't think they should have kept the points in the slightest. That would have been stupid, in my opinion.
It would have been a little hard to judge just because everybody had 3 different challenges. I mean, Ginger had
Right.
3 different comedy challenges that were just, that were disguised as other things, whereas other people actually had design challenges and things like that. So,
Well,
yeah.
and also like if you're what would the points even mean, really? Like, are the points just gonna determine who versus who in the final lip syncs? with
Uh,
like the rando coming back and being like technically the 0 pointer, so you have to verse whoever. What would the
right.
points even really do unless they were going to eliminate multiple girls
The way
before
I initially thought it
the elimination?
would be like they would have like when we found out that one person was coming back. The way I kind of thought it would be like, okay, we have nine. Okay, this episode maybe they'd be like three people would get eliminated, and then three people would get eliminated in the next one. Then we would have a top three, and then they would bring one person back out of those, which would probably be one of the three people that got triple eliminated in the round before.
Got it.
Um, I don't really know any other way how this kind of would have worked. So I'm not mad at it. I think it's a nice kind of, it feels like we've had four different seasons in one, really. And honestly, it's like we've had seasons one, two, three, and now this is like the all stars of seasons one, two, and three, if you could kind of call it that.
It's too messy to be that. Even All Stars isn't as messy as this has been, and
Well,
this is All Star.
I mean, right? I don't know. I mean, this isn't a bad format. I'm kind of enjoying it. It just feels like
There are good elements.
the negatives to it are the fact that it is just very easily producer manipulated, I think.
Oh yeah,
But kind of quickly here, they did have some re-entrance looks. They were kind of glossed over really quick, so I don't want to dive too deep into them. But Jack, who had your favorite re-entrance look? You only get one.
oh, I only get one? That's crazy.
Only one. Because I know my
And I
one.
guess
Okay, you
I
could give
wish you had
two.
told
You could
me
give
so I could have.
two. You get
I
two.
wish you would have told me. And I think because most
Do
people
do
wore
you
a
want me to go
dress,
first then, so that way you have some
yes,
time to
I'd
break it
love you to
down?
go first. I'd love
Okay.
you to go first.
Mine easily is Mistress. Like this was the quality of drag that I had. And not to say her package hasn't been bad, but I would say that Mistress's package does feel like it was kind of maybe not as well thought out as it was the first time around. But this look was the kind of look that I've been waiting for Mistress because this is just immaculate, and the fact that she's able to come out showing off her new body. I'm like, this is the way that she should have done it, not later in the episode. Later in the episode was a little cringe. But for me, Mistress had the best re-entrance look by far, easily.
That's okay, so that's a fair point. I was trying to stray away from the mostly like the dresses and stuff, but Mistress does look beautiful. Lydia's kind of boring. George's outfit is good, but I also feel like there are elements I don't like about it. And you know what? I have to give it to Irene, I think, and Diabetti. I think what I liked about their looks specifically were they were just so signature. I mean, I think Mistress was too. Don't get me wrong. And a couple of these girls were like very signature, but for me, I think what I liked most about it was that neither of them took it like too serious in the sense of like I have to be like this glamour thing, but they're both so glamorous in different ways. Irene is so beautiful here. She's so creative. I think we have seen such an evolution of Irene that this like beautiful moth butterfly thing just makes so much sense for her coming back after being a three-time winner in her in her bracket. And then Diabetti just looks like she's constantly giving me, you know, preppy up like girly kind of thing here. It's like Snow Lodge, but make it fashion, but also like be a bitch. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. Like it's good. I like it. There's a lot of different shapes here that I don't always see. And come on, the coordination with the boots and the fur throughout, girl. That's how you do details correctly. It's like please have everything covered on the shoe and make if it's gonna be a boot, please not just a normal black boot. I mean, it might look okay, but this was fun. When
I
girls
thought
do different
actually
things,
everybody looked really kind of elevated for the most part, other than Lydia
Lydia
and Cynthia. Lydia her dress looked like she just kind of took it out of someone's closet and pulled like a Sam Star, where she's like, "Can I just find someone who has a pretty dress and let me borrow it really quick?" Like it didn't feel like a signature Lydia piece, and I don't know what Cynthia was trying to do here.
no, Cynthia looked good, but here let me say this. Cynthia looked good, but she looked like Acid Betty, right? Like this was an Acid Betty look kind of thing going on. this was not like what you think of when you think of Cynthia. It didn't look bad. It looked pretty good all throughout. The shoes I was questioning though.
Maybe
But
she
I
didn't
was
sell it for me. I don't know. Something about the
I
way she was
mean,
presenting it was giving me like
it
semi-Utica.
doesn't
I don't know. It was
it doesn't
a little
feel like
weird.
her vibe. It just feels like she's trying to be something she's not to like show up the girls. But I was like, I need you to elevate your style, specifically your style. And I think that got lost for me at least. Like I didn't feel that from her.
Yeah, I agree there. Um, I would say though it was kind of funny because it felt like right from the jump, and really the only kind of story beat that we really get this whole episode that kind of feels like it advances, I guess, the plot line of the season. Um, would be that Mistress basically starts a warpath against Ginger Minge the whole episode, uh, especially because I feel like Ginger feels that she's pretty confident, given the fact she did have the highest point total heading into the semifinals here at this point, and she's
Mhm.
already won Snatch Game twice, so she does kind of have a little bit of advantage there. And for me though, like the editing of Mistress, and this is my one another negative I felt about this whole bracket system here is like I said, it feels like okay, narratively from this purple bracket, it kind of makes sense because now all we're hearing about is Ginger still, which is kind of all that it was,
Yeah.
prior to that. And yeah, do kind of get a little. We do get Mistress, and we do kind of get a sprinkle of all the other girls here and there. But like, go back to the orange bracket where it felt like Bosco was such like a main character. Felt like Irene was done to be like such a huge main character. I feel like I didn't get a whole lot, especially Bosco. Like she fell way like nowhere in the edit to the point where I forgot she was even there. Sometimes, um, I'm just
I agree.
very concerned, I guess, because if we're looking at the edit, right, they're not going to throw anything in the edit that is not important towards the story, and it feels very clear at this point. The only person that's really getting any sort of attention is Ginger, with an asterisk next to Mistress, and the asterisk is there because I don't think she's there for a positive reason, you know. Um, did you feel like Mistress was a little out of place this whole episode? Did you feel the whole edit was a little weird, or were you vibing with everything?
I was kind of vibing, but I think with Mistress, like she makes good TV no matter what you want, no matter if you like her or not. She makes great TV, and I was here for like everything she was doing. I was like, you know what, do it because guess what? At the end of the day, this is a game, baby. Like, and she's playing the game, and I'm okay with that. But I felt like the way they were trying to make me view the situation was like a little off kilter. Like, who was thinking to themselves in this moment? They're all like, "You should have sympathy for Ginger," and I'm like, "Ginger is a four-time contestant. I'm not having sympathy for the girl who's back a fourth time. No offense. Like, she's gonna have to, accept the fact that." This is going to be a battle for her. And if she wants it, she needs to prove it because how many girls get a second chance, let alone a third, let alone a fourth? And I think she's doing a
Mhm.
great job. Don't get me wrong. But like if I was the other girls, yes, I'd be intimidated, but I'd also be like, well, why don't we just bring back every girl who's ever won and give them another chance too while we're at it? Like, Ginger feels
Well,
like
we do
she
have All
is a
Winners 2 coming soon.
I mean, but at least they do it kind of okay where they're like, let's make it all winners. And you're like, okay, well I can see that. So
None of
I
this
just I don't
BB on
know.
season 3 business. Yeah, I feel you.
Ugh, yeah, that's a mess. Don't get me started on that. But I think with the edit, what was weird is we saw some stuff like I think the orange group is probably the most like tapered off what we didn't see, right? Because what did we get? We got, you know, Bosco and Irene and Irene's connection to Mistress and some comments here or there when Mistress would say things about Ginger and then Irene was like, "Oh, what did you think?" And Bosco was like, "Yeah, I think I'll do well." Okay, cut to someone else. And Aja really she was our narrator to start, right? She like started it off. She was the first one to speak. Oh, girl, it's getting real now because we're all in here. And then until later in the episode, we don't get really anything from her until she's worried about her position in the competition. And that was it for for the orange team. The orange team was like done. And it's so strange because
Mhm.
I'm like, the all three of them, I think they are the strongest group as like a bracket. They are the strongest group in my opinion.
I
Like
agree.
I could see all three of them at the end. And I can't say that about any other group. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, okay, well, we knew Cynthia wasn't going to be much, right? I never had a chance in my mind. I didn't think she was going to make it to semis, but whatever. So she's kind of just there to be like the goofy one. She's funny. Everyone loves her. Same thing as always. Ginger is just I'm in a room and I need to breathe, and Ginger's taking up all the air. Lydia, who is she? I don't know. She did
Mistress's sidekick, basically, at this point.
right. Mistress, Lydia, and George just all go off to the side at the beginning. That's how we get like a little bit of time with them. But we really only get it about Mistress because all the girls are like, "Oh, Mistress gonna say all these things, blah blah blah." I think we got that one moment where Bosco and Irene and them were like, "Let's do a little prayer to hope Ginger's gone." But really, there was never focus on other people other than people talking about Mistress, people talking about Ginger. These are the only two girls anyone's really got in their mouth, right? And so that's
Hmm.
weird.
Hmm. I feel like it's I don't know. It feels like they could have done more with the edit there. Like if this ultimately ends up with Ginger winning, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised at all. But I'm like, do we
No,
have to make it
definitely not.
so obvious with the edit? Um, I don't know. There really wasn't very much anything else story wise here to kind of comment on. At least from my perspective here, was there anything you wanted to talk about before we get to the main stage here, Jack?
No, get me to that snatch game, baby.
Deal. Well, before we actually get to the Snatch game here, Jack, we have to get to your favorite part of the podcast, and that is the runway, which means it's time for this week's Yes or Miss. So the category for this week was tiramisu. And I thought this was a really fun concept. There was some question though about, I guess, the actual, like what the rules were because at Roscoe's, Lydia spilled some tea that she didn't realize that they were supposed to have three reveals. And if you look at some girls do have three reveals, some of them only have like one, maybe two.
Three reveals?
But yeah, they were supposed. She said that they're supposed to have up to three reveals. So I'm like, there are
Okay.
some girls that do have three reveals if you really look at it, and then I'm like, there's some girls that I'm like, eh. I'm like, so I'm wondering what they were told for the actual prompt. But otherwise, did you like this category here, Jack?
Oh, first of all, I love this category. I think suits feminized is like great. I think suits masculinized can be great, right? But like, I'd rather see feminized outfits and stuff. But if you make a masculine outfit, fine. I'm fine with that. I just want to see good drag, right? At the end of the day, that's my big like. I want to see good drag, and good drag I did get.
I think we did get a lot of good drag. I think for me there was one glaring negative, and that was some of the reveals. I mean, they made it very obvious. They were not
Oh,
trying to hide that this
girl.
was a reveal. And then other ones, they had a very hard time with the reveal, and it felt like maybe they didn't get a lot of time to, work out the kinks of things before they
I
took
don't
to
know
the
what's
main
going on.
stage. And also, apparently, they only did that runway take once, which is kind of shady.
Well, it that
Kind of
is
shady.
shady. But I
Makes
mean, there were plenty of
sense.
girls that messed up, so
Yeah, it does make sense, but I mean, I don't think anybody was Nicole Page Brooks getting out of a. Well, actually, that's not true. There was definitely a Nicole Page Brooks getting out of the cactus moment, and we'll get to
there's
that. But Jack, let's go ahead and we can get into your standouts for the week and who stood out for all the wrong reasons.
okay. So I think going in order, Bosco looked amazing, like amazing. This was such a cool concept. I loved the color combos, the like just above below the knees kind of thing going on, like the capri pant style, and then she ripped off the top, she ripped off the capris eventually. So it was like three different looks, yes. And she has this weird hair that is just so mesmerizing. You want to see more from her, and it's so much fun. Like everything there was so good.
The hair's everything, honestly, for this. I don't know what like her reference was for this. But it's such a fun look. I don't know if it necessarily changed as much as I wanted it to. Like some other girls definitely had some more drastic like changes. But like the hair bitch alone, it's just it brings this whole look together, and I'm fine with it honestly. I think it's more maybe like a more high fashion type than a dramatic drag look. I feel like if that
I
makes
think,
sense.
yeah. I think the Tara Me suit is like so fun because some of these girls really did a different type of suit every time. And I was like going through, I was like, oh, what kind of suit are you doing? What kind of suit are you doing? You know, and some girls just did normal suits, which is totally fine. No one has to like do anything other than a suit. That you just have to qualify for the assignment, right? And I think that was like what made this category so fun. But there were so many different ways that the girls came about this. Like, I really loved a few of the girls who did like Diabetti did tracksuit kind of thing, and I thought that was fun because that was like our first time we saw like not a really a suit, and then she had like a jock strap reveal kind of thing, which was just kind of funny because it matched her whole like gym aesthetic, and it was just this weird thing. It wasn't my favorite, but it was just so funny to see girls do so many different types of suits, right? Like these suits were just so magnificent. I think this category specifically, tearaway is fun. Sure. I'm not sure that that's my favorite part, but just like reusing these kind of ideas can be so fun. And I think the next real big person that needs to be talked about, Irene motherfucking the alien.
Yes, go off.
Bitch, she had a mask on that none of us knew was a mask at first. And then she took off her wig and her outfit and just revealed this completely different alien form of her, which makes sense, you know, she's her brand. And it's just it's this weird, like fleshy, peachy, like moment. And she just looks so good. When she takes that mask off and you didn't realize, it was amazing, right? Like,
It
I
gave
think
me
that's
very like lazy Susan vibes from
mhm.
Down Under. Like I was just like, oh my god, like ah, so good, so good, such good reveal too.
Yeah, I think she is like the standout of the week for me if I had to choose only one. But I want to give credit to other girls who did what they had to do. And I think I hate to say this, like, hear me out. I'm gonna say something. I know a lot of people didn't like this, but I really liked Ginger Min's concept so much. And I felt like if she hadn't been holding for the reveal, because I don't think she didn't think she could like get it or something, it would have worked so much better. But this concept was one of my favorite. It's a very simple, we've seen it before kind of concept, but it's probably one of the ones that looked the best. Also, her showing off her figure, and I know that the girls like they seem to place a lot, and let me tell you, a lot of weight on. Oh, I didn't mean to say it like that, but a lot of like focus on the girls who have gone through major changes, specifically losing weight, and I felt like they just tried to play that up for Ginger so much this episode. But even like when she was in her zoot suit and I didn't even know, I was like, I think this is fun. I think this is good.
I didn't like the first part of it. Like I loved the reveal and it made sense why it was so kind of bulky afterwards, but I was just like
Mhm.
I didn't the first part when you walk out in basically a balloon and you're like okay or like Alaska with a trash bag on. It's like, okay, well, this is clearly a reveal, and this is basically just a trash bag that looked like a suit. It's like,
I mean,
eh. But I thought she
that
looked really, really
that's
great with
fair
the under
though.
part. It is completely fair
It's
as
a
far as I consider
real
it.
Alaska's
Like,
wasn't a real look.
it
Ginger Min's
wasn't.
was.
But we're not talking about Alaska at the moment. But that's
But you
like
brought her up.
it's same idea here, where it's just like you're just gonna put on like a it's like the people that are like, I'm putting on a jacket. My reveal is I'm taking my jacket off. I'm like, okay, that doesn't count. Like,
But
you can't
that
just
wasn't
put on
a
a
real
tarp. You
doll.
can't just
I
put
know.
on a tarp and
We
then
gotta
take
keep
it
it
off,
real.
and then it being like, okay, that's the reveal. Like, I just,
Yeah,
I, I'm, I
it
will
wasn't.
give her credit for the back part, but the front part was not great.
I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of people that were talking about how great Georges looked in those types of pants, but
Well,
I
because she did.
let me say something though. I felt like Ginger had the exact same kind of pants. The only difference was Georges is 2 inches wide around, and Ginger Midge is not. And so because she has those baggy, like way too big pants for her, because it's more material and she doesn't have necessarily as big of legs and like or she has bigger legs than Georges does, right? They kind of like meld together. So the same style of pant is not necessarily going to look as good on Ginger. And I don't think that's fair to like say, hey, you can't look good or something. And I think she looked fine. I just think that it needed to be
I didn't
highlighted
say
that
she
she,
didn't look good. I said that
well,
her wedding
no,
dress part
but
looked amazing. I'm just saying the front part was terrible.
well,
And
I
you
don't
will
think it's
not allow me to say anything different
I
because it
don't
was
I don't
bad. It
I
was
don't have a problem
bad.
with that. I just think that when I
And
look
you're
at
into your opinion here, and I just as I am to mine, and I think it was
I
just
just think
not
that
good.
when you're looking at Ginger with I've seen so much hate towards that, and I was like, y'all don't get what it's like she's a bit bigger, and so the pants don't look bad. But I'm gonna say it. I wasn't that enthused by Georges's. I thought Georges's was something I'd already seen from her, and I wasn't like crazy over it. I thought it was just
Really, this
gorgeous.
is the
Yeah,
first, the most kind of material we've ever seen on Georges in ever.
and
Maybe
that
the
doesn't count.
reveal wasn't, but like okay, it doesn't count because the suit is the category. Okay,
But
sure.
also,
But like
here,
the way that she had it fitted, the way just the design of it, I loved the way she accessorized it. I loved the hair. I loved honestly just the color palette that she chose for this too. I mean, it's very obvious, but it's this very very deep like burgundy maroon. I don't know, and I love the fact that it goes to like a brighter red in the dress. I personally, there's not as huge of a concept as some other people went with, but I feel like this is honestly one of George's best looks. So I want to give credit
maybe
where credit's due, and I feel like George's is definitely one of the tops of the week for sure.
I would not say that, but you're
Oh yeah, of
entitled to your
course.
opinion. But
I think you
like,
have diabetes higher than I would too as well, but
well,
you love Dia.
I found that Georges's was such a boring, played out concept that I was like,
Understandable.
like, I
And I'm not, and
guess.
again, I'm not judging you for your opinions here. I'm just saying from my perspective. Because
I just felt like it
I
was
think
like
we've all
this.
learned here, we all have a number of different opinions. And sometimes production is overriding everybody's. But, um, Jack, I'm surprised one look that you haven't said yet. Um, and that's
What
Aja's. I thought Aja's, her reveal especially was gorgeous. I don't know if I necessarily liked the cocoon as much. It felt a little weird while she was kind of like revealing out of it. But I thought like the concept, the end result, might have been one of my favorite like singular looks of the night as well too.
So my problem was that you could see her reveal already when she comes up. Her reveal is already showing through, and that's a big like no, 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 no for me, right? But this is one of those I think it's a cool concept for this caterpillar to butterfly thing. I think it's beautiful. I do like the finish outlook. I think that this first part doesn't really isn't really shaped well for her. I don't think it looks great on her body, and she's using this like belt thing to like keep it cinched, I guess, on her and whatnot, but it didn't even look good. And it took her a little while to take it off. And then she had to like reveal and then pull it down and then shake a little bit to get it right. And I didn't see the vision, and I don't think this was thought about when it was made. I guess is like my big thing is like it there wasn't enough thought put in here. And that's not always her fault, but it kind of is because she needed to get her stuff together, right? So I wasn't feeling it. I was like, it's fine. It's not great.
Okay. Well, what were your thoughts on Lydia's? Because I really
Oh,
liked Lydia's. I thought it was really gorgeous. Like I really loved the color that she went with too. Just like that nurse mint blue colorish that she was describing with the black. I thought it was really cool. I liked the fact that she took like she kind of had like different kind of reveals than other people did, but I also don't think she had enough because really at the end of the day it was really just like she took off or the bottom part of it fell down and then she took off her jacket so we could see her booty. But I thought she looked good. It
Uh,
wasn't what I was expecting, I guess, from Lydia.
I feel like it's very clean for the most part, right? Like I really enjoyed I really enjoyed her um her what would you call it? The suit part that she used. I thought that was very unique. I thought it was very fun. That fabric was everything, and the blue buttons, everything. It just looked so good. And I was like, okay, I can't wait till see what she's gonna bring into because the idea of a reveal generally means that whatever you have underneath should probably be better than what you have on top, right? And it really went from a black and blue accented outfit to her being like, let me show you this waist, let me unbutton it, and then take off the pants to reveal it's now a gown. And I was like, okay, with the jacket on. And I was like, that's kind of fun, I guess. And now I'm waiting for the final reveal, right? And it never happened. She showed us her back. And they were right about maybe steam or whatever, but it's hard to like deal with that when you're stretching up the fabric trying to get it there.
Yeah, I thought that was an unfair comment, especially considering like
I
the part that they're saying is like bunched up is the stuff that she had bunched up under her outfit that was the reveal part.
That's my thing with Lydia here was it was just um there wasn't enough to really be excited by because the first look was so good and then the second one was like it's all right, but taking the jacket off just ruins the whole thing. And honestly, it was just it was kind of a boring blue dress. Like it went well with everything, but I was expecting some kind of black accents with that fabric or something. And honestly, knowing that she has that black boot underneath really did not work for me. I was like, I hate this. She looks like she's tripping on it because it's so long and not structured, and then she's pulling it up, and it was such a fail for me in that sense. Like so good and then so bad. It was very
Yeah.
reminiscent of I would say it's reminiscent of like I don't want to say Cynthia, but like of Aja. It just felt like it was good and then it wasn't. Like it was okay.
I was gonna say, speaking of tripping on themselves, we have Cynthia we could talk
Oh,
about here as well
here we
because I
go.
think this might have been the worst reveal that we've ever had on the main stage, just as far as like mishapping goes. Like I felt so bad for her when she was taking everything off and nothing worked. Um, Maybe the only other one that was worse was maybe Michaela Couture, where her thing had the wardrobe malfunction when it wasn't supposed to have the malfunction. But
Oh my
yeah,
god.
this was cringe. Like I like the idea of her doing tiramisu colors. I thought that was really cool. Um, I don't necessarily like the first look either, and then it revealed, and I don't know how the second dress is supposed to be structured because the little like booty flap was like sticking out like she had a tail. I don't know. It was
I
rough.
felt like, honestly, you could see down the sides they were already partially zipped or something, and I was like, okay, so they're just supposed to. What this should have been was that she should have been able to just pull the pants, and the whole thing would have fell off like Velcro or buttoned, right? It should have been really simple, but for some reason it looks like it was maybe the zipper or something that she was like working to get undone to the point where she could rip it off, and it just didn't work. And we could already see stuff from underneath the outfit. And honestly, I think I liked her first outfit then more than the last part because her last part of the outfit was kind of a mess. It looked like it was ripped in certain areas. And it had terrible pants. This is the pants that everyone should have been talking more shit on. I don't know how we weren't talking shit about this because these pants were the worst thing I've ever seen on the runway. Like this is what people mean when they say making pants is difficult kind of thing. Also, the top part is fine and it was really fun, but the problem is it's not Cynthia's size, which I thought maybe that was the concept. But because the pants are so poorly done, yes, they're big like the top part, it just didn't work. And I love the color combo of the tiramisu. Actually, I had a friend who I was watching this with, and they were like, "Oh my God, like she did tiramisu. Oh my God, the category should be called tiramisu." And I was like, "It was, you stupid bitch." But um, but I was like, so Cynthia huge blunder, which who cares because she was already in the bottom anyways. Like it was sad to see this happen because you didn't, even though I'm not a huge Cuckoo fan, it still made me feel bad for her. But I think this is maybe the biggest reason as to why they needed to keep it to just one reveal thing. Because imagine if she got a second time and it actually went well. I don't see that because the way this comes off, she did a terrible job. And it was just broken around and messed up. And even the cut in it where she was holding it up, I was like, I don't want to see your panty the full thing. So I don't know. Fail, 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 fail. And I was like, girl, this is
Okay.
a mess.
Well, I do have to ask, who has the bigger mess though? Cynthia or Mistress? Because honestly, as much as I liked Mistress's re-entrance look, I did not like this look at all. Just the way that the front part, like I love the concept. Do not get me wrong again. I love the concept. But like neither look was very good to me. Like I love Mistress. Like I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. And I'm like, why can I see like it was the first part, right? It was weird that like the top half was very clearly like there was like a white band or something in between like the bodysuit parts or something. I don't know, like it was very clearly like a top half and a bottom half, so it was like very clear, okay, this is gonna come off, like obviously. And obviously based off of the size, like we know what we're getting into here. But then like the second dress, like it kind of reminded me a little bit of her entrance look, but like I liked her entrance look way better. Something about just the bottom half of it looked a little bit like a tent and it didn't hit the floor. I don't know.
Okay.
And I also didn't really like and the biggest issue with that is the fact that like you could see like she still had the bodysuit underneath it for her ankles. So the fact you
Mhm.
could kind of see that, it kind of reminds me on when you play Fall Guys and you're trying to match up the tops and the bottoms, and like the bottom is a little bigger than your top half, so you get that weird overlap of like you know what I'm talking about. Like it happens when you're trying to match the costumes,
Yes,
and it just
yes,
doesn't
I
work right. It
know.
just
And it
doesn't
is
look right. Yeah, it. This might be my mess for the week. I don't know because
it's
feel like Cynthia's, if it comes out right, looks good. But I'm like, I don't see any world where either I think the reveal went right for Mistress, and I'm like, I just don't like it. I'm sorry, Mistress. Don't block me.
okay, so I'm gonna have to keep it 100 here. I liked the concept that Mistress was doing right, and I think honestly she didn't do a terrible job at doing the thing, so I was like, okay, it was a little clunky, right? But it was not as bad as like other people's, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I think at least half the girls struggled way more than she did. So I was already like, I guess based on that, that's an immediate whatnot. Now, this about her losing this weight and stuff, and actually, I thought her reveal went pretty smooth in comparison to everyone else. It was a little clunky at first when she was taking it off, but it lasted less than half a second, and then it was right. The problem is the final look, but I do want to talk about how good she looked like in the first part of the look. It gives me a lot of the Lydia thing where I was impressed with the first part, not the second part. I think Fat Suit was really funny and a lot to say about like Mistress losing the weight and like proud of her if she wants to do that, whatever. Like that's her body thing, like her body, her choice, like let her do what she wants. And so I thought it looked very fun to like put on a fat suit when you know what it's like to be fat and how it probably looked kind of misshapen to some people, but as a bigger person, like bigger bodies come in a lot of different shapes and curves. And so I was like, this is fine. This afterwards, though, kind of gave me the idea of the girl who either thinks she's still fat or needs to hide her body a lot to not like draw attention. But because the fat suit didn't get it didn't go down. It wasn't smooth, and you're right, it didn't hit the floor. It was a few inches high, but the material also didn't look that expensive. Like it looked like a crappy dress. And they were like, "Oh, it's a good dress."
Ooh,
And I was like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the cut of this dress right here. I was kind of expecting that the whole fat suit was going to come off, so I was really surprised to see none of the bottom half change in the slightest. Because what if she had revealed this dress and then ripped it off and it was just like her in a bodysuit that was like matching the top part? I thought that would have been pretty fucking slay.
It felt like
I
there's
think,
something missing, right? Like it didn't feel
right.
like Mistress on her A game, like she usually brings. Like I don't know, like I don't know.
I
That
do
maybe
wonder if Mistress maybe knew something that we didn't know. Like maybe she knew about some of the favoritism and stuff going on and how she knew she had no chance of winning the season. And so she maybe didn't put as much effort into this look after she got the design for it. I don't know. This is just speculation, right? Because
I see what you're saying though. It just feels like she's on a different level. You know, like they were saying that she was
right.
distracted by the drama. I don't. I don't know if that's the case. I don't. I just don't. It just doesn't feel like Mistress to come out in something that we would ever have that much to critique on. You know, like
Yeah,
usually her looks are
I
very
agree.
just kind of like on point, and I'm just like this energy feels off, and
But
it
you know
felt off.
what? You make a good point. And I think this goes back to when she did the design challenge, they really didn't eat her up the way they should have, like in a positive way. She should have been top two. I mean, like I'll like say that to the day I die, kind of thing. In my opinion, I guess my
No,
opinion.
I agree. I think she should have been top two there as well too. That's why some of these judging decisions for me have been a little. I mean, not just a little whack. They've been whack. Um,
They have
they've
been
been very, very interesting. And maybe we'll have to. I feel like I didn't want to do one for season 17 because I didn't really care all that much about the judging order. But I'm like, are they gonna make us do another rejudging of season 9? Like we did season 9 for, because I feel like that's what this is leading to. Because I feel like there's a
Oh,
completely different season that we all envisioned that we did not get.
here's the problem. I don't feel that strongly so far about a lot of these decisions. Like, I feel like there's a couple weeks I'm like, questionable. Like, the Rusical, I probably would have put Tina and Carrie as the top two, but we know what they were trying to do there. I probably would have split up the groups in the purple and not like forced it to be like Daya and Ginger are the first winners of the challenge. Like, yes, Ginger's gonna win challenge 2 and 3, but she's definitely not winning like the design aspect of the challenge. Like, yes, they have the best group effort in my opinion, but there's things like that. But a lot of the challenges seem to have the right winners until you look at like very specific episodes. So I don't know if it needs a full on breakdown. Because the first group, I mean, I think that was judged almost perfectly.
Yeah, orange was fine, but when you get into, I feel like
Pink and purple, a little
pink
rough.
and purple definitely were just very, very weird. Um, Speaking of weird, let's go ahead and get
Oh my
into this
goodness.
snatch game because this was a
This
very
mess.
bizarre snatch game to me. I did
The
not.
mess.
I don't want to. I feel like maybe because we've seen so many snatch games at this point in time, it does make it hard sometimes for them to do things that kind of like stand out. But at the same time, though, too, like the editing for this just felt very, very, very strange. Like it felt like they could have committed a whole additional half of a segment for what we got for since we didn't get any story here. Like they could have given us literally a whole like half more segment of the Snatch game. Like how they usually give us the introductions before they go to the break, and then we get a whole section of actual Snatch game. Because I think we maybe got 3 questions. Maybe the last question I don't think really counts because it was just a way for them to throw Cynthia and Mistress both kind of under the bus again because they were the only two that got that question. But like word on the street is they were asked like 5 to 7 questions. So for this to be the edit that we got, it just felt very weird. Did you feel the same way, Jack? Did it feel weird to you?
It felt weird, but for a slightly different reason as well. I I feel like they were really trying to up certain people that didn't do that great of a job. And honestly, this 2 top and 4 bottom thing, it made sense to me. Shit, I would could have made more bottoms than four if we really wanted to, because uh, I really felt like some of the girls did not come prepared at all, or they just weren't listening. Like, I kind of agreed with Ginger Minge where she said it's about listening, and RuPaul was like, it's about listening. And I was like, I kind of agree. I talked to you about this, about how I felt like that Jack of Trade jokes was like a setup. Like, that was too perfect, I felt like. But, you know, whatever. At the end of the day, regardless of what we saw, I do think we saw the correct winner of the episode. Because even, let's say we see Ginger's worst moments, if they were the other questions, the other girls' worst moments are pretty bad. Or if they're not even their worst
Hmm.
moments, like, there was some really lame shit happening in here. And there's a little bit of controversy, but I mean, do you remember anything Aja said? Not really, other than shaking her boobs, which was funny. Do
I
you remember
remember
any?
nothing that Aja said
What did
at
Bosco
all.
do?
Bosco changed her hair around and did the Joan Rivers joke, and then she pretended to be Cher. And I thought that Bosco actually did pretty good. I just felt like, again, like we didn't see much of her. Like she just
It
didn't stick out
It's
at
like we
all.
got her answers. It just wasn't great. Like, she started off, and I felt like it was kind of like, oh, it was smart of you to like bring up the thing that RuPaul talked about in the room. I was like, okay, so that was smart. Like, that was really smart. It was easy to do. And I was like, okay. And then we kind of had all these other characters that we didn't see much. Irene didn't see shit from. Lydia didn't get much from. Like, I feel like Lydia, Aja, Irene.
Daya was extremely underedited. She got like two questions. She got her opening and then one other question, and then she disappeared.
Yeah, Daya was under edited, but the things we did see was that she was interacting with other girls and stuff during their jokes and like making jokes with them. And that was like, it felt like that was the theme that they were giving her for this. And so we knew she was going to at least be safe because she was doing a good job of picking things up and like trying to volley with other girls, right? But you know who
I
we
mean,
saw?
sort of. Like, I guess you could kind of say Georgia's kind of did that a little bit too. Like, every single time she had questions, she was trying to throw it to Mistress, and Mistress
Yeah,
would pick or choose when she wanted to respond. Um, a lot of
yes.
people commented on Cynthia, and I think a lot of people were the another reason too that I
Oh
was
my
surprised
God.
that Aja wasn't critiqued more is there was one question she had where she set something up. I don't remember what it was that she set up, but like three other people commented in and stole a joke off of it before she even gave her answer for it, and then her answer was bad. Like I remember because it ended with like Ginger saying something, and all three of the people that chimed in got laughs, and then Aja did not get a single laugh. It was very,
Yeah,
I don't know. But
Aja's performance was kind of rough. She didn't have a lot like going on there. I also felt like they weren't really trying too much with her. I think RuPaul especially was more to the girls that she knew who they were. Like, the moment that RuPaul doesn't know who you are, she kind of stopped. Like, let's see, the two people RuPaul did not know on this cast were Cookie and Natalie Nunn, right? These were the two people that she had no clue who they were. She knew every other person's character, right? And I felt like she had so much more energy going to all the other girls than to those specifically.
mhm.
But I do think what I saw was really sus was how they edited Mistress, because some of her stuff was funnier than what they gave credit for. I'm not saying she did an amazing job. That's not it at all. I'm not even saying she did like a good job. I'm not saying that. I just think that she committed to things. She tried to do jokes, and they just put that VM laugh track like underneath some of the stuff she did. You can't tell me when she was like cutting out that answer and being like, "Oh yeah, I put that there." She was like, this was scamming. That's like Natalie Nunn, like that kind of thing. Like, that is exactly what Natalie would have done. Her trying to start a fight. She did that a few too many times, but it was at least funny the first time. But they didn't give her nothing for that. Her talking with Pitbull should have at least been acknowledged. Like, there were things that were just missed. And what I felt like we really got was, what is Reba doing, and what is Dracula not doing?
Mhm. Um, yeah, the mistress stuff, like, I I go back and forth because like the first time I watched it, I'm like, oh my god, she's doing really bad. But then it's like every single time she's like trying to like I wouldn't say volley, but like I guess talk with Rue. Rue kind of shuts her down. Like at one point, um, she was saying she was going off on her thing or whatever, and Rue's like, oh, okay, yeah, I believe you, and then just moves on to the next person. And it's like, okay.
Exactly.
But also like she did like the same thing that I feel like Asia O'Hara did when she was just at just the angry character. Angry characters don't do well in Snatch Game. Like it's one thing to be
Well,
like a Judge Judy when you're like being aggressive and something like that, you know. But like I think just but that also had levels. I don't think Mistress had a whole lot of levels outside of just being
I
angry.
I think there's something more to say about this as well, though. And one of the big things for me is that I don't think Mistress was only angry. Yes, she was mostly angry. But with Asia, Asia did not have that character at all. She just made Beyonce angry, and we were all like, I don't understand. She wasn't even getting half the jokes that were like to her, and like her and Ivy weren't working good. It was just a mess. And I feel like part of that is also like when you have characters that know each other and stuff, it you kind of expect them to have more shit to talk about with each other, and we didn't really see that at all, right? Like, did anyone feel like we saw that? I didn't feel like. But but like I think here what was weird was the person interacting with Mistress was getting such good feedback from the judges, and I didn't feel like Georges did that great. I felt like I had seen this character multiple times from her. I felt like she was just playing herself, so I was like, okay, she's doing all right, and
I
that was
mean,
it for
she was giving the pitbullisms. She was basically herself at the roast,
me.
but
She was a
with
little herself,
pitbullisms.
yeah.
So, like,
Yeah, there was. I didn't think it was that good. I was honestly like surprised that we included Pitbull in the top three or top two. I was like, why did we even not have a top three then? Because I wasn't feeling like Pitbull was that far from like the next girl in line. Like we could put Bosses up there, right?
I probably
Like
would
I
have done honestly Georges, Ginger, and if there was a third, I would have put Irene there, just because her housekeeper joke made me laugh.
okay, that was funny, but I kind of just felt like they forgot about Irene. They're just like,
They
who is
did.
she?
I feel like I said, I feel like they sabotaged the Orange Girls. Like there's just something about that. I'm just like,
Yeah, they're
why are they so under edited? It's so weird.
and I think it was so strange because we end up let's just fast forward, right? We end up with four bottoms, right? We end up with Lydia, Mistress, Aja, and Cynthia. And I don't think anyone's gonna no one should be fighting this, right? No one should be
A
fighting
lot
any
of
of
people are
this
fighting us.
other
A
than
lot.
maybe Mistress, in my opinion.
No, a lot of people are fighting Cynthia. A lot of people are like,
I know
Cynthia is
that's what I wanted to bring
hilarious.
up.
Cynthia was
That's
so
what I
much
wanted to bring
fun.
up. That was some
And
bullshit.
because, and I feel like they're using the Lexi Love from last season's critique, trying to use that kind of against them here. But I feel like the difference is that, like, a lot of, there's a lot of points where Cynthia was just kind of just babbling and saying nonsense. And
She was just being Cynthia. She wasn't being
yeah, there
Dracula.
was no actual character, and I get,
When
and I'm not trying to defend Alexi Love. I don't think she should have got that
but
critique, and I
Lexi
don't
was
think she
trying to
should have
be
been in the top.
Godfrey. Like she was trying to be that. I think they were just kind of. I don't even know. I didn't even see like it was like she was a top that week. I just kind of saw it as like, hey, we saw what you did. It was not good, but it was so bad it was good. But we giving the same critique to Cynthia. The difference is Cynthia was funny because it was Cynthia being bad at this character, being bad at everything that was going on, right? And I think that was the difference is we're looking at someone just messing everything up,
She had a
which
good
is
answer here and
funny,
there, but like ultimately, like it just was not cohesive. Like it was just
right?
there was a lot of droughts, and a lot of times she would give answers that just weren't funny at all. Like her ring, like okay, what? It's gonna take place in whoever Jimbo's ring for a what? I don't know.
And even if she
Um,
didn't know, she was like, "Oh well, I don't know who Jimbo is because Dracula doesn't know that." I was like, "Okay, fine, that's totally fine." Now, what do you know about Dracula? And she was like, "I don't." And I was like, "Okay, so see how we're having this issue? You don't know anything about your character." RuPaul was even like, "I was gonna think you were gonna say blood," and she was like, huh? Like she was gobsmacked, and she should have been like a real Snatch Game person. If anyone was doing the Snatch Game right then, they would have been like, oh, I've turned vegan or something like that after finding out about like COVID and like all the diseases of humans. Like after my long years of living here, I've become a vegan or something. Like that would have been like the easiest thing to pop off with. But and I'm not going to take away from Cynthia also kind of having an unfair disadvantage here of her not being having English as her main language, right? Like her first language, I believe, is Spanish. So there is an unfair advantage here that does need to be talked about. But this is not like it's just not what was going on here was not it. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, I personally I don't think her highs were good enough to save her from those low
The
lows that
lows
she
were
had.
so bad. People
Um,
were laughing because she was bad.
mhm.
That's it.
Like it's almost hard to say though, because you have someone like Aja who doesn't really like do anything, but she doesn't also like bomb because she's not really taking any chances. But then you do have someone like Cynthia who is actually like she's attempting to do something, right? She's not doing it well, but she is putting herself out there to try to do it. So I do understand why there is a sentiment behind Cynthia. Um, or some support that she's getting,
No,
but
they're all
I don't
Cynthia
agree
fans
with it.
now.
I don't agree with it. So,
No, it's just everyone being a Cynthia stan now because she did well in one goddamn challenge, and they're like, she deserves to go through because she wasn't in the top that week. And I was like, both of the girls who were in the top did better than her. Like, so sorry, you don't want to
mm,
admit that like this is the whole thing. Everyone wanted to hate on Ginger, and I was like, it's not Ginger's fault that the judges judge it like this. But even if we look at it, Ginger did do better than Cynthia in the challenge in most aspects. Of course, it's subjective, right? Like I can't just tell you that and you have to believe it 100%. But at the same time, when you look at the performance and what was going on, Cynthia had this good booming moment and I was like, "Oh, Cynthia, you did more than I ever expected." But at the same time, there's that issue of, "Oh, I'm giving you a different standard than everyone else because I didn't expect you to do well." So I think we have to kind of look at it like that when we're judging the girls. And look, I get it. I have a bias against Cynthia, but I try to be as unbiased as I can about this shit and be for real with yourself. Did Cynthia do a good job? No. Did Cynthia actually play Dracula? No.
so who would have been
And
your
that's
bottom two then? Would you agree with the Mistress and Cynthia,
I would
or would
have
you have done somebody else?
I would have done Cynthia and probably Aja. Like, no hate to
Hmm.
Aja, but I just felt like it was really flat. I don't know. We weren't getting a lot from her. And at the end of the day, like, I felt like she had more to prove to us, right, about this than
The
what we
Mistress
saw.
did.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Mistress took
Hmm.
wings, and yeah, some of them were misses, but you can't tell me that some of these were also just like intentionally not even trying. Because I saw RuPaul and I was like, "You gonna say anything back?" And RuPaul was like, "Sure ain't." I was like,
I
"Okay,
mean, the only reason I'm putting Mistress in the bottom two is because I want to see her lip sync. Because this lip sync that they did
yes,
to Aretha Franklin's "Who's Zooming Who," this acapella remix that they did, a very unexpected song choice. Such a good lip sync. So good. I thought they both did really well. They were both giving two very different styles, but Mistress clearly, I think, just
Mistress ate it
had
up.
it with her face, regardless. Yeah,
It
I don't
wasn't
think
even
there's a
close."
question that Mistress won this without a doubt. Um,
And
but
the audacity of people saying it should have been a double save on a season where we already
uh,
like first of all, we can't do a double save. Like we already have to get rid of girls. How are we gonna get rid of girls? And secondly, I know that y'all like Cynthia. I know people love her, but let's be real. She didn't do better than Mistress, and the people saying she did, you're just a Cynthia fan. Like even when someone does well in a lip sync and I don't like him, I gotta admit when they do well.
mhm. Yeah, I don't think there's any defending Cynthia here, unfortunately. But maybe she'll get picked for the wild card lottery. Probably not, but
Oh,
maybe.
don't
You
get her
never
name.
know. You
That's
never
it.
know. I want to just touch on one quick thing here, really quick here, yeah, because we're almost to an hour. But just one quick thing that people are talking about a lot here and I'm curious to get your perspective on it because,
I'm down.
during the Snatch game,
Uh-huh.
there's been a long term a joke where Raven is always there, but Raven never wins. Well, Raven not only won the Snatch game this time, but was kind of crowned by Raja. And there's a lot of people online talking that this means that the crown officially has been taken away from season two winner who should not be named, and it is now officially given to Raven. Are you was this moment significant to you? Do you agree with this all, or was this just all a gag for you?
I think this is more of a gag, but I agree with it. I agree with that sentiment completely. I'm like, yep,
So are
as
we
he
calling Raven the
should.
winner now?
Well, I have been saying that ever since that person who shall not be named has been acting a goddamn fool all the time. And I want to say something really quickly. Like, I don't want to offend anyone, but can we can we keep it kind of about how someone specifically has been acting a goddamn fool? And I don't want to give them any screen time or anything like that. So I'm not saying their name, but I just felt like if it were me and this was like this is about your legacy or whatever, right? For Rue, for me, I would have stripped that girl of that title a long time ago when she did that bomb threat thing. That was not cool. It was not fun. It was not, and she was never remorseful, you know. And I don't think this is a I don't think this is a hate thing. This is not a race thing. Like it's just I think that when people get upset about that, I just have to remind everyone that like this is a TV show at the end of the day. This is also RuPaul's TV show, and I just think that my opinion on like how I would handle the business versus hers is completely like different, right? And RuPaul has never made an official statement to my knowledge.
No,
And
I don't think Rue has.
so let's just keep it at that, like, and I think we should all just keep it at she's essentially like Coco Montrese in a way, right? Like Coco Montrese has Raven, but also
Oh
other
no,
abilities, right? It's
Raven
essentially
Montrese.
it's essentially the same thing when you think about it, right? It's like she essentially would be taking over a crown off of someone who either doesn't
Hmm.
deserve it or can't fulfill the duties of what the crown means. And I think we should just like accept that. Like we don't have to give any kind of feelings or thoughts or anything to this person. So let's not.
Hmm.
And then let's just like focus on the positive things that we can talk about. In this case, in my opinion, the positive things are Raven finally won something. Goddamn.
I
Um,
mean, I feel like Raven's kind of been the winner anyway. I mean, she's RuPaul's makeup artist. She has what,
yeah,
two TV shows, three maybe. I don't know. She has a bunch of TV shows. Like she's
that's a
booked.
lot.
She's blessed. She's fine. Um, she's gonna clearly be doing fashion photo review with Raja moving forward. So I feel like that in a lot of ways, like the fact that her and Raja really are the only two kind of like old school queens that are around, all the time, other than maybe like Jujubee, you know? Um, so in a lot of ways, they kind of won just being legends. So I don't really know if this is official or not, but if I ever do a video that includes winners, we'll probably just put Raven there for season two. Why not?
I mean, yeah, I think it was funny because remember the first time they brought Raven in, and I was like, "Oh, is she gonna compete?" And then they didn't, and I was like, "Oh."
They do that
And
like UK versus the world too, right? Or yeah, UK versus the world, where she walks in and like, oh, and she's like, and now Rue. I was like, oh, okay, bitch, okay.
yeah, we were like, "Oh,"
Well,
because I was
yeah.
excited.
Well, you never know. Maybe all winners too. Maybe that's what they're setting us up for. Um,
I'm not sure
Jack,
about
did you
that.
have any final words here as we head into episode 11 next week with our last two episodes, one final elimination, and then we will have a lip sync for the crown.
I think we saved some of the worst challenges for the end, honestly. Snatch game and talent, girl, a mess. A goddamn mess. Like we know the
Yeah.
talent show is always bad. I am not looking forward to that very much. I am like, wow, this is going to be rough for us. That being said, I
Well, they're
think
not
we
real
all
talent
saw
shows anymore, you know.
it's about
So
your song and promoting it, blah blah blah. And we saw a
yeah,
lot of girls are going to be doing songs, so no, don't
yeah.
everyone be worried or upset about it because you already know it's happening. So
I
don't
do kind of
don't.
hope Irene makes water again, though.
I would scream if I remade water and made it funny somehow. Don't be mad when your queen doesn't win because you know this is the most rigged thing they can do. You all know it is. Don't act like you don't. Um, so just be mindful of these things when it happens, and you know what?
You know it will.
Give girls a little bit of love. You know, give everyone the chance to impress you. I know people aren't feeling good about the favoritism towards certain girls. I know people aren't feeling good about what's going on with some of the other girls not getting any time. But remember, this is a TV show. Try not to take it too personally because they care more about their ratings and what they can achieve on the show than who actually wins. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and honestly, if the girls aren't complaining, then we really don't really have that reason to complain. And if we're not going to, I think, like I said last week, better to share love to the people that you feel like are getting robbed and go support them versus, you know, talking crap and hating on the people that have no decisions or no choice in the decisions that are being made. So,
I mean, definitely talk the crap, but don't talk the crap to the people. You know, talk the crap to
right.
me. Talk the crap in the comments. I want to hear your opinions because I love talking crap too. Let's talk the shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, as always, Jack, I can't wait to see how this all turns out. And hopefully, y'all can't either, especially if y'all made it this far. Thank you again for listening. And like Jack said, drop a like, subscribe, and comment below because we would love to talk some Drag Race with you. Um, until next time, and on behalf of my co caster, Quacker Jack, this is Renegade signing out. But remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Bye.